And I mentored a lot of people. Like most guys right now that are popping in the growth operating space. I see something, I see the timing, I just do it. And I don't overthink it because I trust in myself to get it done. It's stories like that if I can learn to package it, I basically built a 10K more hour business overnight.
It's always the most emotionally charged moments that are going to make people want to invest into what's happening. This gives you a compass of what to avoid. So when you have ideas, you think about, will this piece of content lead to any of this? It's not rocket science. It's just thinking, how can I frame this so it's actually interesting? Get in the mindset of someone who doesn't know you.
The hardest thing when you're making content, it's so demotivating when you lose ideas. And I feel like when we talk, the biggest thing is like, I feel like you bring the right things out of me. If you guys don't know me, I have a software company that basically helps creators, B2B businesses, essentially track their leads, track their content, and retarget the leads. Basically help their sales team find their hot leads. And I'm here today because, I used to make a bunch of content. I did decently on YouTube, on IG, not the best. And I had times where I was being myself and it worked, times where I didn't. And going into basically Trackio, which is my software, I want to become the best at it. And I want to find a way to consistently get all my stories out. And honestly, just get better at content itself. I think I have a lot of ideas and I'm very outgoing all the time, but I don't know how to package everything and stay consistent with it. So that's why we're here today with this song.
Appreciate you for entrusting me, bro. I think you already have all of the raw ingredients. You already have what it takes. Now, as you said, it's just about guiding towards that final destination. You know what I'm saying? I guess off the bat, let's begin with Trackio is going to become a live software soon, right? And you want to document that process. At the same time, you don't want to do it in a cookie cutter template where you want it to be where it's authentic to you and yourself, right?
Well, it's already more so live, so we have results, but us really starting to push the marketing side of it. Yeah, that's definitely going to be a new destination.
So what have you got in your mind right now with the content? What do you plan to do?
Well, first I want to basically kind of leverage the past of what results and everything to push the software, which is what I sacrificed, a really well-going business. But the main thing for me is documenting what I'm doing. I don't want to overly document it because you're always in a situation where it's you don't want to give up weird secrets and stuff. But I want to show everything at the same time. My goal is to just, like I said, it's I want to document and show people that I'm kind of like everyone else. You've been with me for a couple of days. I'm sure you can tell, but I managed to get really far and build something really good just based off the fact that I'm very focused. I have full belief in what I do and I sacrifice the right stuff. I'm a pretty odd person, bro. I don't think I think like everyone else. And I just I don't know, I just live life I'm myself. It's very hard for me to be in a depressed state. And so people think I'm just dilly-dallying the whole time. But I have consistent things that I do. And I want to find a way to document that, show maybe myself, show how I actually work when I'm doing business. And then also show the lessons that I'm learning from it. That's the most important part. And I want to actually show people the way that I work, the things that I do are very straightforward. They're all processes and they're all concepts that are simple. And I want people to watch my content and think, holy shit, this guy is just like me. I think out of a lot of people that make content, I'm very similar to most people that I meet. It's just that I instilled a couple principles and concepts into my life that allow me to make the most of who I am. Does that make sense?
So we're going to have some core tenets that represent who you are.
Yeah.
And you want to show that through being yourself and these lessons that people will learn from you. It's not going to be so much of you telling them their lessons. Yeah. They're going to see in how you live.
In how I live in stories.
Yeah.
Because I used to have a program and I mentored a lot of people and a lot of them, 5, 6 of them right now have hit their first 100K months.
Is it fair to say you were one of the, 4 founders of Info?
4 founders of Info, maybe not. I was in the operating side, yeah.
Okay, operating. Yeah.
I think there's always been some type of growth operators from 10, 20 years ago. But publicly, as people naming it that, yes, I would say yeah.
Okay.
Most guys right now that are popping in the growth operating space,
they know you
from our program or know me directly.
Right, okay. You've got a lot of motion in that regard. And I think it's worth to leverage that as well. But it also depends because as brands evolve, as you evolve, there may be certain parts of your past you don't want to identify with as much. So as of right now, what do you want to identify with from your past?
Well, I got into operating because I always looked at things differently. Even when I was operating, I launched 2 different softwares that both hit 10K MRR. And it's not a crazy amount, but it's just that I've always done things in a certain way for some reason. It's always been at the right time. You know what I mean? And if I can help people build way of thinking that creates that, then that's kind of what it be. So that's one thing I take from before, because in operating, that's what did well for me. We were some of the first guys teaching it. And then even the way that we did it, I was so product focused that the program did so well. I ran a program, but 30 to 35% of my sales every single month were off referrals. No one was doing that.
30 to 50% a month was from referrals.
Yeah. And all the guys from there are a lot of them are my really close friends now. So it's I attack things from such a different perspective. Even with Trackio right now, no one sees that it took me 10 months and everyone's oh, you should have marketed earlier, documented earlier, all this stuff. But then all my attention was not on making the product as good as it can be and usable. That's the only time I thought about making content now is because it got to the moment where people are making money from it.
So what I've gathered from that is, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like a very core tenet around your business philosophy philosophy is timing.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Huge. Yeah. They ran a test in the US. A guy gave a TEDx talk about it. They tested the biggest reason for success and they matched it against it was team, it was timing, it was funding, then I think it was speed, and then there was something else. I forgot what the other core thing it was. And timing was number one. So I'm very big on timing. That's why when I found out about TrackU, I just stopped everything. That's how it's always been. When I found out about operating, I quit school. So it's like when something's right, you just go, bro. Like
So I would say like something that you probably have over a lot of entrepreneurs is your ability to do that. Because I think one of the hardest points that someone in this space will find is when should I pivot?
Yeah.
Because they'll be making money and everything's working, but they can't foresee that that may not last forever.
I think my biggest skill is speed. Like one of my softwares, Coaching Leads, I had 10K MR. I got the idea when I was in Hungary, Budapest. This is actually a really cool story, bro. And then I was literally just chilling out in the hotel and I seen some random guy on Twitter make a website where he was giving like leads of coaches, but it was really bad. And I was like, you know what? I'm 100% sure I could do better than this. So I texted a guy that worked for me and I told him make a landing page for coaching leads. And then we launched it with a list of 2,000 leads that my ZA scraped manually. And it was like, hey, you get 2,000 leads a month for $197 a month. We didn't have the next list. And I still launched it the same night. And I found a developer on Twitter that was also from Hungary in Budapest.
Okay.
I took him out. We got a drink together. Well, not alcohol, whatever. I covered his bill, whatever. We get out. I'm like, okay, can you please build it? He said, yes. I was like, okay, I'll give you 10%. He said, yes. We launched it the same night with no software.
Damn.
There was no platform, nothing. So my thing was I have 1 month and I can get it built in the next 30 days and launch to everyone. So it's like, that's the definition of like, I see something, I see the timing, I just do it. And I don't like overthink it because I trust in myself to get it done. And it's stories like that, that if I can learn to package it, I basically built a 10K more business overnight.
And you sold before you build because you knew the timing of the market, right?
I just knew like no one has this. We need to do it fast. And I just like did it. But yeah,
I think you got a lot of stories here that lean into that fact. Okay, that's good. Let's talk a little bit about now this release of TrackU and what you're looking to show in your content coming up.
Well, to be honest, like I wish I could have this thing where it's like, oh, I have a strategic date where I want to launch it. I don't really have that. Just based off the fact that like I still want to get some people's like feedbacks on certain things. And so I don't have this thing where it's like, you know, a lot of people have this like big launch date they want to get done and they want to get all this revenue in one day. I don't really have that and I don't have to bet on that because the product is an organic product that people are all going to use. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see it as like, oh, I'm doing this content because I need this list to build up and whatever. That's just the thing.
You don't need to rely on the hype.
I don't need to.
Because it's fundamentally just good.
Exactly. I already told you who's going to use it.
Yeah.
Like, who's using it now. So it's like, one of my students just texted me. He was using it and he just came back from dinner. And look, literally one of our other friends, he's doing 100K a month right now. He texted me, send me a loan. Right. And because he saw screenshots. It's like, my friends are getting on it and they're referring their friends that are also making a shit ton of money. So it's like, I'm not doing it because I need the hype. I want the awareness on it, right? I want people to know the biggest people are using this, but I don't need to do this whole build up and go viral.
You don't need to come across as desperate.
Yeah, 100%. No.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you're probably like 1 to 2 months probably from releasing them, right? If you had to say.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we want to start showing that now. I know you mentioned to me off camera, potentially making a documentary or starting to, showcase what's happening, right? And you're now filming some content for it. You're documenting what's happening. Do you have an idea of what you're going to capture and what you think is going to be best to capture as you lead up to this launch or whatever it may be?
Well, my things are always like, I always think to film what people are like not going to always think. Like, I don't know. It's like the classic stuff. Like I think of like, I like to film when I wake up. It's typically a weird time. It's never like on the dot. It's like the typical thing that you would expect from someone who does like a software business or whatever. That's like one thing. I would say like when I start working, typically like what I'm going to do for the next hours. But that's also like, you watch a video, it's like, I'm going to do this. It gets boring. I would cut straight to like one of my calls.
Yeah.
And then in the title, whatever, I could label what the call is. At least we go straight into action. I would say my daily stand-up call with my devs, because that would be a consistent thing that I want to show consistently, where it's like, hey, we have this thing we consistently do.
So if you had to say like with your devs or any team members, how often will a major breakthrough occur? It sounds like just a minute ago you were talking about,
Yeah, the hot lead thing.
Right. So that sounds like a big thing. How often does something like that happen?
So that happens like 1 to twice a month, that we have something that like a user asks for that's like really way better for a user that like tends to hit. Like once or twice a month.
100% need that. Like that's going to be pivotal. When you have these pivotal moments, I think that's going to show you the clear timeline of progression.
So do you film the moment when the idea comes up and then when it finally gets done? And then what do I do then? Do I get a reaction of someone that's using it? Do I just say like, like how do you film?
So I would say with that, when it's something that it's improving the user experience, right?
Yeah. Like for example, my friend hit me up. I sent it to him. my other friend already booked a call.
Yeah.
So when I do that, I'd be like, guys, we finally. But how do you say this? Like, guys, we finally have this, and like, because I feel like the emotional reactions of people kind of.
Yeah, of course. It's always the most like emotionally charged moments that are going to make people want to invest into what's happening.
Okay, wait. Can I take notes on that?
Feel like yes. Yeah, you always want to document
That's
those
a really
emotionally charged moments.
Okay, that's actually interesting. That's
And-
why, like, when people feel like you're hyped, you feel like whatever, those do really well.
You feel the hype back.
Okay, but how do you make sure the hype is not gay? Because it can be gay.
It's just repetition, really. There's no secret. If you have a gut feeling that, okay, this is going to be good, let me just record. So preempt it if you think a moment like that's going to happen. For example, you do a live walkthrough with a user and it's the first time they see it.
You have those onboarding calls, the reactions.
Right, that's really good. There you go. You can leverage that.
We can like clip those up.
You can have like, 5 big names all reacting back to back to back to back to back. That's a sick clip. That's easy money.
You're gonna run the onboarding calls as like purely like fucking.
Yeah, they're getting clipped. Now, that's an obvious point in your business where that needs to be documented 100%. Other stuff that needs to be documented.
So getting as many reactions as possible.
Yes, but remember, we said emotionally charged, and the emotion is a spectrum, right? So that's like pure positive. We need the worst moments. We need the moments where shit goes wrong, because then it feels healthy. It feels genuine.
Thing is, I've been documenting this since like last year, and I've had like only up until now, it's been only shit. And I have all those videos.
Oh, that's good. You have that before. So you have all the time where you were eating shit, and now you're getting the fruits of your
I
labor.
already incorporate that like my new documentaries and videos in.
So I would do it when...
Isn't it like, what if we put like a 6 months ago or 8 months ago type of thing?
Yeah, you can do a foreshadow. Yeah. You can bring it back. Let's say you play a clip of you back in the day, let's say 6 months ago when shit was going wrong. That started to play. And then what do? We're going to cut to you now reacting to that clip. And now you can be like, look how much has changed in that time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What do you think of that?
Yeah, that actually did not think about that. So you would react to the clip.
You could do it in a way where like it could be quite cool. Let's say the clip is on screen, right? That you're watching it, right? They're watching the clip of you 6 months ago, and then it cuts to the same clip being played on your computer. Someone's got a camera filming it, the screen, and then it zooms out and it's you reacting to that, watching it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's like a nice basic transition that it just gets to the point. I think these sort of like fairly not complicated filmmaking
Here's my one thing. Should it truly be about money, or should it also be about like, oh, I'm not sure if it's going to work. I'm not sure if it's going to work. And then it cuts to like all the reactions of people being like, holy shit, this is the best thing I've ever seen.
You can do either, bro. I mean, even better than not sure it's going to work is that it's actually not working at all.
Yeah. Like that could be, that's like one idea, right? Like the before and after. Then the other one is like money wise, right? It was this, and then I'll probably show my best week with the software itself. I don't want to make it too much about money because it's not really all about the money issue. The money doesn't really portray the exact journey I want to portray for people. Because if it's just the money, there's people that have different journeys that are smaller. But the point is, for me, it's like, yeah, no one was using it. Now they are. And then what I would want to cut to is like the lesson of like when you're starting anything, you're going to have to be able to eat a lot of no's. I would say for me, the hardest part was eating no's from people that I know. Or it's like people that you know being like, oh yeah, I'm using this is really cool. But then you go on the app, on the software in the back end, I can see the actual usage rate.
They don't use it at all.
They don't use it at all. So it's like that stuff was like, but it's okay. You know, it's part of it. And now like all those people like are all the ones that are texting me. And I'm not mad at them, but it's just like, that's something that not anyone will like teach you. Because for most people, it's like, oh yeah, it's not working. Yeah, fuck him, on to the next thing. My goal in the long run is I want to build something that people are going to use every single day. That to me in software is the hardest thing ever. How do you build something or a product? It could be anything, but it's like the clothes you're wearing. Something that people literally have in their wardrobe of business. Like you have pants you wear every day, but you go to Zara, right? You always go to Zara, right? How the hell does Zara build a business of someone that will go to it every week and wake up every day and wear it?
You want it to become part of their like,
I want it
on what library of software they use.
But you don't just do that by like, you do by vibe coding. Yeah, it's something where it's like, you know, for every single time a person says no, we slowly took more time in their day until we get to the point where someone spends an hour a day on Trackio, like you would on Slack, on Zapier and all that stuff. I guess this is the biggest thing is I have so many ideas of where I'm going. There's so many reasons as to why I'm doing this. I could say like, okay, yeah, money or whatever, but I already know that like, number one, it's really hard to sell a software. Like people think it's very easy. There's a lot of people that you know who you would think like, oh yeah, his company is worth this much. It's very hard because it's like not as easy as it's not just a number and someone buys it. You have to have a buyer. So I don't really go through it thinking, oh, like I want to sell my company. No, it's like for me, it's so much more. And it's even like the whole thing about last year. I told you, December of last year up until like December of this year was the hardest time ever. But it's because last year I was like the heaviest ever. I was super depressed. I was making the most money ever, but I literally hated what I was doing. I was building my daily routine around like everything else than the business, so I can be happy when I work on the business. But I hated it. So that's something I also want to talk about. It's like, like I stopped something that was making me a lot that would have filled my ego. I was gonna buy the GT3 and I took all that money, I loaned it to the company. So it's like that stuff where it's like I want that to what people like see, because especially in the business stuff, people are always thinking like, oh, you have to do the hard shit, you have to do whatever. Like there's so many people that are trying to do your business of content, but they suck at it and they don't like it. They do it because it's business, and they spend their whole day doing what? Texting people, oh, I'll make you a free video, and yeah, they're making way less than you. Why? Because you inherently have the knack for it and you enjoy it every day.
What I'm gathering is you sacrificed a money printer to fulfill your own soul of making something with genuine impact in the game.
But then does 55 to like 70K a month count as a money printer or something?
I would say it does.
I guess the normal person, that is a lot.
It is a lot. What was your take home on that? Like 70% margin?
Yeah, 65, 70.
Well then,
But-
bro, you have enough money to do whatever you want. You're at a point where you could buy a supercar, but you gave all that money for a new company that you believed in. That's leverage. Because how many people are willing to do that? Can't lie, I would not have done that. So just bought
But the thing is, here's the thing, right? Selling and growing the software right now. And software is not like info, bro. You don't just fucking go and sell 100K worth of it and then, let me think how I'm going to fulfill. You have to scale it as it goes. So for me, it's not something where I can just take a bunch of people on and then half-ass it, because they're going to put their links everywhere. So like, I don't want it to become a thing of like, I made 20K, 50K this week or whatever. I want the success to be by the names using it, by the reactions we're getting from it, by it's typically the people that I'll be speaking to. To me, the money thing kind of ruins the vision in a way. I don't know if you know what
You don't want to lead with numbers.
I don't want to lead with numbers.
You want to lead with impact.
Yes. It's also in general, I don't want my brand to be that. Like my brand, was like about money, but it was more about the fact that I showed everything about how I made the money.
Let's identify what you don't want to be like. That'll give you clarity on what you do want to be. Okay, so firstly, you don't want to be money-led, right? You don't want to be flashing numbers every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Anything else comes to mind immediately that you just don't like?
I don't want to be like a high edited, like prepped up, like freighter.
You don't want to come across super polished. Okay, so don't want to be super polished. You want to be genuine. You don't want to hide shit. You want to just show it all, right?
I just don't want to not be me.
You don't want to play character.
I also don't want to be like a beggar type of thing. Like I don't want to make like this. Oh, this is like
Desperate.
Yeah, that's not at all. Because I can build the company that I'm building without anyone knowing, and it would still do as well.
Yeah. This is what you don't want to be. Anything else?
I don't want to discourage people.
From what?
I don't want to be discouraging from the perspective of like having views that cancel out certain people. Like there's a big stigma behind like, oh, like if you're not doing this every single day, you're not going to make it. I don't believe that. Like there's a lot of people that are inherently very lazy people that can still make it, or that they haven't had the right person speak to them. Is it what I don't want to be, or what I don't want people to see me as?
No, what you don't want to be. What you are is what you get with your brand, because you're not trying to be someone else. I guess what could help is, what traits do you not like in people that you want to avoid?
Okay, I don't like people who don't spend their time getting skill sets and like actually learning things every single day. I don't want to be someone who lacks education. I don't want to be someone who thinks I'm the best person in the world at everything at all times. I don't want to be someone who thinks I've done it all, so I haven't. I don't want to be someone who looks down on people, because it's like, I hate that. I don't want to be someone that is disrespectful to other people, because I hate that. I don't want to be like, there's no reason to make like dumb decisions.
You want to avoid dumb and rash decisions.
I don't want to be too serious. I don't want to be too attached to what happens in the moment.
Too attached to outcomes. And that's probably good. So just from there, this gives you a compass of what to avoid. So when you have ideas, you think about, will this piece of content lead to any of this? And if it doesn't, it's probably good. If it does, then you probably realize, oh, maybe I shouldn't show this. Because it's a lot easier to come from the frame of what's negative than positive, because we're wired to see negative.
So how do you do that when you're just doing some like random funny shit, like what I showed you earlier?
You just reflect on it after you watch it.
You would film something, and if you don't feel like it makes sense, you just don't post it.
Yeah, if you film something you don't feel like it's actually true for what you want to represent, you just discard it. And as you said, right, you want to be very hands-on. And as long as, you are being yourself, etc., and you are who you say you are, which you are, and that most stuff will not happen. So it's just about, let's say someone gives you an idea, though. This is when you can use this framework. When someone gives you an idea to try and do X, Y, Z, you now cross-reference it to what you don't want to come across as, and you see, does what they're suggesting fall in that box? If it doesn't, then cool, you can do it if you like it. And if it does fall in the box, you discard it. All right, so that's going to give it a bit more clarity on what we need to document, what we need to avoid. Now, let's talk about like the actual logistics of you now filming. So, and what you actually want to create, right? Let's get into the specifics of it. So you obviously want to document this whole process of now building and then releasing the software, and people, people fucking with the brand, they like it, etc.
Yeah.
So how do you do that in a way that's going to be, number one, easy for you to do. Number two, it comes across as you, doesn't come across as some alternate character. And number three, it shows the product as well. It shows how much of a change it's making for creators and other info guys, etc., whatever they may be, right? What are the actions you plan to do to now bring this to life?
I mean, the first thing I would do is I have a couple of videos of reactions of my friends about the last feature that we built. I mean, the thing is, the fastest thing I could do right now is these new users using this tool. I could get the reaction by tomorrow and be like, your friend reacting, you're something user. We can label the user as because they're all making a lot of money. One of my friends that's working on it, he's doing $500,000 a month. I'll be illustrating the impact of it.
I think some things we should add is, especially through breakthrough moments like we had today, I think you just talking to the camera, really explaining what this tool does and how much of a game changer it is for the industry. You describe in detail how things used to be and how things are now.
I haven't thought about that.
Right.
I feel like that if it's so feature based.
Yes, but that's what the product does, right?
Yeah. I guess if we had a hook where it's
I just killed the whole info.
Imagine you could let your sales team know which lead consumed what information. So tomorrow, this guy has 10 calls on his calendar, and he knows which lead is cold, which one is hot, which one is really hot, and he can treat them differently.
So very immediate hook angles we have are talk about the specific use case. Also with the fact that you are changing the landscape. Lead with the case studies. You can start videos off with yes, the reactions, and then explaining what people are reacting about.
These 50K to 100K a month is or something like that.
Yeah.
Because
you can even what you can do is you can position Trackio as a foundational change in the market by using an analogy from a previous market with a previous brand in a different industry. You can do it like this. Trackio is what Uber was for taxi companies.
So why would you say it's the Uber of info? Because that could be
because Uber destroyed taxi industries, wiped it, bro. No one is ever going to use the other competitors if they have this. That's the point I'm making. When it's fully operational, there's nothing to compete with it. The only thing that can compete with it are copycats of it.
Yeah, I would say Trackio. There's already some copycats,
but they're not as good, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Simple as that. So, I mean, look, a lot of the hard work's already been done. I mean, from a content perspective.
Really?
Because you have all the ammunition.
Okay, so now the thing is, what are the consistent moments to film? That's the biggest thing where I actually know, but at the same time, it's I don't want to, when you start over filming to the point where it's you don't want to film anymore?
Film when there's a reason to film. Do not film unintentionally. So before you turn the camera on, just think, is this actually going to contribute to the brand and the vision? Because if I'm just doing it out of habit, because I'm I should film, you have nothing you're going to say. So what I would do in your position is if you want to film or you have an idea to film, rehearse what you plan to talk about briefly. This is still being authentic. You're still going to do it in your own way, but you're not going to waste the viewer's time. You're respecting their time by getting to the point and delivering. So just think about what is the point of what I'm about to tell my audience. Because what you're going to do is you're going to build an audience who fucks with you, they trust you, and whenever they look at your content, they're you know what, I always learn from Yusuf. I always learn. He's real. He's genuine. You have to treat that person back with respect. So when you start talking, you can't just say a load of bullshit, bro.
Yeah.
You got to make it worth their time. So you got to be considerate of what your audience wants to see. It's really good we identified this. Because some people will be stupid and they will do something that doesn't align with them. They'll go viral for that thing that doesn't align with them. And now people want that thing that they don't align with. So whatever pops off, we want to make sure that it represents you because people are going to want more of it. And you don't know what's going to pop until you do it. And I think really important thing, try to repeat yourself in terms of what you
I repeat myself a lot.
Just remember, have I talked about this before? You can talk about the same principles over and over again. That's fine. Because you probably have a mix of 5 to 10 core principles you believe in that aren't going to change. They're not going to change anytime soon. The way you can show them to your audience, you show them through different vehicles. So let's say one of your principles is about being honest in business and not milking people, as you told me. You can explain that point multiple times, but don't just say, I don't like when people do X. Give an example, and you probably have multiple examples. So you'll have 10 different examples that all share the same lesson. You already have all the raw ammunition right there. So now it's just about delivering that, and then you attach the lesson that you want to leave your audience with, and it will reinforce the principles. Because you'll hear a piece of advice, but most people will rarely process it hearing it once. They need to hear it again and again and again and again. That's what I would say right now. And then in terms of what to film on a daily basis, yes, the big moments that are happening in your business are 100% important turning points with devs. And just bro, your own emotional highs and lows. Same for the people around you. Like, I don't know, maybe even you have a call with your dad and you don't record his face, but you can record his voice, you know, talking about what you've been, I don't know if you want to show that, maybe you do or you don't. And then I think if you do that's really it, bro. That's the main things that you need to show.
Yeah, I think this time I just need to really go all in, bro. I think at some point it was really weird. It was weird, bro, because like I used to make content all the time and then I stopped because it's like everyone that I knew now was like kind of judging me for it.
Do you want to start talking about stories and stuff from your life? Do you want to start doing that now?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. These stories that come to mind, how do you now tell them properly? So the next thing is adding detail. You need to make it specific.
What does that mean?
So when you told me the 5-star hotel, your parents weren't coming, right? When it's something like that, we need it. Yeah, because what you want to do is you want the viewer to be able to picture the entire story.
Would you say what hooks it is like, let's say I'm doing a black screen. Is it the actual title of the black screen and then me saying it?
There's multiple ways to do it, but it's typically the most important thing is
What are the different ways they hooking?
So you can give context on the top.
Okay.
It's mainly going to be what you say and how you say it. This is how you're going to frame it, right? So you can't just say, I walked into a hotel and they thought my dad was coming. Then no one gives a fuck.
Okay, well, how
right?
do you do this?
So,
okay, sorry.
But you have to take the perspective of someone who doesn't know you.
Down, bro.
Fully broken, bro. But bro, listen, you got to take the perspective of someone who doesn't know you.
Yeah.
Right? So in that scenario, like, what was the significance of this? How old were you?
It was 18 and a half.
How much was the hotel a night?
Wow. You got me right there. It was like $500 a night.
Okay.
I made money and I spent like $5,000 in 4 days in London.
That's sick. And how old are you there? 18?
19.
That's a good hook. So lead with the fact that one of the dumbest things I first did when I made money was I spent 4K in London at 19. And I went to this extremely expensive hotel. And now
Continue.
okay, yeah.
Continue.
I
Get down.
I go up to the reception.
Oh.
They signed me in.
Oh.
Blonde woman at the desk. Snow bunny at the desk, bro. Formal attire. And she asked me, Mr. Lashwa, when are your parents arriving? They're not coming today.
Not today, guys.
Not today. Not tomorrow. That lays it up much better, right?
Yeah.
What do you say? It's not rocket science. It's just thinking about how can I frame this so it's actually interesting. Get in the mindset of someone who doesn't know you. That's what we got to do. Anything else you want clarity on, bro?
All this stuff is really good, but now it's like, like just executing the right ideas. That's what I'm thinking.
I want to give you a really easy framework to follow as you go along your day to day. So let's map that out. This is the first thing. You need to always get this. Big moments that, breakthrough moments, right? People's reactions. You illustrating the impact of what the tool actually does. And then your own emotional highs and lows. And in terms of actually filming, easiest ways, bag glasses, using an Osmo. And then when you do a proper sit down video, camera, tripod, easy. I would say those 3 ways, very easy to document. Just whack it all in the drive. And then when it comes to like getting beer on something, you want to set up a shop, we can do it. We'll walk around this place. We'll scout out the most aesthetic spots. And if you want to shoot that stuff, you can. If you don't want to shoot it, don't shoot it.
Yeah, I'm a shooter, bro.
I think this is the framework, I would say.
This is actually illustrating the impact of what the tool does. Actually interesting because we have little stuff that we do, but I haven't mastered repackaging it. No, but this, I'm going to obviously text you questions.
Yeah.
This is a really good foundation.
But Yusuf, how have you found today's breakdown, my guy?
Very good, man. Honestly, you are very good at asking questions. I think one of the best of building a relationship with the hardest things is to ask good questions.
What were your expectations before the breakdown versus now afterwards? Going into it, the result now.
I thought it was going to be, this is, I guess, a bit better than what I expected. You asked a lot of really interesting questions. And so it's more of like going deeper and deeper and deeper into what I'm thinking and less of like the fluff around. That's the most important thing for me. Because if we can talk enough about the right subjects, like, illustrating the impact of what this tool does, right? Like make it detailed. Like that makes more sense to me now. It's like, what's in track, yo? No, it's like the impact of what it does, which is like, it would change the YouTube game, for example, or it would change how you track.
And how would it do that?
I think one thing you're really good at is I call them like poof moments.
Aha moments.
Yeah, I call them poof moments.
That's
It's like the opposite of a brain fart. And the hardest thing when you're making content, it's so demotivating when you lose ideas. And I feel like the way when we talk, it's like you consistently like bring things to light. That's the biggest thing is like I feel like you bring. Oh, it's just gonna be really weird. You bring the right things out of me.
I bet you like that one, eh? Any entrepreneur who's gone through building something substantial, there are so many experiences that they can draw upon. It's just now remembering how to bring everything. One thing that I find helpful that will re-jog your memories and your stories, have a little scroll through your gallery. And that's going to re-jog so many experiences.
Interesting.
Go through those photos, bro. You're going to be like, oh, I remember this day when...
All right, but good chat, bro.
Appreciate that, bro.
Very master of questions. That's what I would say.
Appreciate
It's,
that, man. All right. Well, hopefully we're gonna have some good content coming out. It's gonna be legit. It's gonna be Yusuf showing who he is. So I'll see you guys next video, guys.
And wait, why only the next video? It should be like, well, you guys can also.
I want to see you guys for the rest of my life and my Instagram and my YouTube.
Exactly.
And I don't do LinkedIn.
Yeah, definitely don't plug me, bro.
And obviously Yusuf is in the description and he's everywhere, bro. He's the king.
I will be everywhere, inshallah.
Inshallah.
All right. See you guys.